You are live.
Hootie. We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook, Instagram. Facebook. All right, let's start the show.
What's the P? Time to change the narrative. Black gay men talking real issues and they sharing it. Everything from dating, even talking hot topics. Mental health, sex, love, and everything around it. No longer will be silent. It's time for liberation. We need way more positive representation. Learn and connect. This is everything you need. Sharing their perspective. Now you knowing what's the P. Hey, what's the P?
Hello and welcome to What's the P Live. I'm Justin Lamar.
And I'm Curtis Rosello. This is a show that provides a platform for gay black men to express their perspectives on topics, issues, and concerns of the world around us and how it actually impacts our community. Today we're going to be talking about
election results and our thoughts and our concerns and what do we expect for the next 4 years.
Yes.
All right, so I kind of have this little video I'm going to show, and it's just 10 seconds because this is how I feel. Okay, that's all I wanted. Just Joe Biden running out. He's the president. Accepted his election results, and you could tell he was very happy. So, all right, let's jump right into it. The first one is let's do the election results themselves.
So, with the election results, I think it was very interesting. Why it was just weird that I understood why it took so long for him to count it because Donald Trump's crazy,
right?
But it's ridiculous how many people voted for Trump.
Correct.
Like, I think it's not only ridiculous; it's just sad that like half the United States, almost 70 million people vote.
Wow, that was crazy.
And that's saying people who voted for misogyny, people who voted for homophobia, xenophobia, people that were voting against just inequality, human rights. Like, this man is a bad person. And even if you were, I'm an independent. But even if you were a Republican, why would you vote for somebody like that?
Right.
Like, Biden by far was not the person that I wanted as a candidate. And I sat there and I debated, like, should I vote or should I not? But it's not. I knew that there had to be a reason to vote just specifically for local elections because at the end of the day, the president isn't the big thing. It's everybody else locally. But it's just sad that so many people voted for all those things. And then they said, and it just goes to affirm that, do black lives actually matter?
Well, I think the black voters did show up. I think we should be questioning, well, we'll talk about it. It's one of our topics, the Latino voters. But I do agree with you when you say about
But 1 out of 5 black men voted for Trump.
Yeah.
1 out of 5.
But I do think when it comes to results, that was crazy when I was watching the news, CNN, and it was saying 70 million people voted for Trump and 74 voted for Biden. Now I think that was like...
And there's still people that didn't vote. I know people in the salon, not in the salon, but clients that didn't vote. And there was a lot of people that just couldn't vote. They just couldn't bring themselves to vote because they didn't like Biden as a candidate or Trump, or they were just lazy. Right. But it's just, that's disappointing and disheartening. And it's not just, and I hope people don't think that just because we voted Trump out of the office that the world is back to normal and that there's no issues. There is inequality issues. There are issues, and people do not care about the inequality that's actually happening. And we need to be vigilant about making sure that we are expressing what we want, our demands, as black people, as far as, like, I'm just speaking from a black person's perspective, as far as it comes to gun control and police brutality and inequality with education and housing and loans. And Biden said he said thank you that we voted for him and supported him. They better fall through. But what do you think?
I agree with you to a certain extent. I do believe, yes, this doesn't solve all our problems as far as the U.S. government, but I do say it's a change for the better as far as getting the right people and officials and holding our officials accountable for what we put you in office for.
That motherfucker, excuse my language, Trump needs to go to jail. His administration needs to be in handcuffs. They better not do Obama what Obama did with Bush and allow that stuff to go away.
Right.
You know, like we can't allow, there needs to be consequences and repercussions for his actions. And we cannot allow people to think that they can get in the office and just get away with any crazy stuff that they want to and just get off and go home scot-free like oh, no problem. No,
it's not that easy.
No, we might not have been able to touch you while you was the president, but we can dang sure show you that we can touch you when you're out of office.
Right.
And we need to show him that everything that he did was unacceptable and it will not be tolerated by us right now and later down the road when somebody else comes, because there will be another Trump. And
for at least a candidate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also I think people need to realize your local elections count, right?
Yes.
And now think about Georgia. They have 2 Senate spots open and they're doing whatever they can to get those people both Democrats.
Yes, and it's going to be very hard, but hopefully Stacey Abrams did her job. She did more than what. That's why I think she should have been vice president. But she did more than what.
Especially for Georgia, she's the reason why Georgia.
She came through. Period for the United States. Are we on there? I don't see us.
On where?
Okay, yeah.
I was like.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
but if y'all want to chime in, y'all can chime in anytime too.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember how to show the comments? I forgot. You remember last time how we did?
Comments. You have to turn it on. Go. Did you turn it on?
How do you get it on?
Oh, go to settings.
Oh.
And then go.
1 second, y'all. Hold on, listen.
Go to guest maybe.
Share the link they have to use. What's the link at though? You see a link?
Show invite. I'll go to invite.
This one.
Yeah.
And then put it where?
And
right here?
Yeah. And pin it. You should be able to pin it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There it goes. Okay, so
there's a link to if you want to chime in. Who DT said he's trying to reach the Democrat guts via litigation? What?
He's speaking in code.
I'm 43. You can't be doing the abbreviations.
Right, I'm like, what?
DT said, who's DT? Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump said he's trying to reach in Democratic guts via litigation. Oh, well, he ain't gonna. They already. I think the reason why they wanted Biden to get over, because they still haven't counted Nevada and Arizona, but to get over 306 votes is because no matter which route he tries to show that he won on a state, that it wouldn't matter. They would see, it would show that the path that he selected So if he said if he would say the votes in Philadelphia didn't count, then they could show that there was another path that he could have won without Philadelphia. And that's Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. And if he says like Georgia or Nevada, then they could say that he had Philadelphia. So he's not gonna be able to with 306 electoral votes. He can't. It's gonna be very difficult for him to even try to prove that he didn't win. So yeah, I hear you, but
it ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna work
because now he's looking like a crazy man. Well, he's already crazy.
He definitely. But people are still, all those Republican Trumpers are still going crazy and saying that. What's that?
No, that's
us. Okay, is they're saying that the votes aren't valid, right, which is crazy. You know, people are crazy. If these 70 million people are voting for one person coming out of the woodworks. Somebody said Wesley said I didn't sleep for 3 days.
That's true.
I went to sleep.
You went to sleep on election night.
Yeah, I was just okay with just voting because I just got right in my heart and said I'm just going to go ahead and vote. And I was just okay with the election results, even if Trump would have won, because I think that Democrats as well as minorities didn't do their part as far as being a little bit more vocal and just a little bit more aggressive when it comes to human rights. And I felt like if we didn't win, then it just shows that people just need to be a little bit more active in campaigning and in the election. So I just was like, it's going to be a wake-up call for people. So but I'm glad he did win because it kind of shows
that your vote counts.
Yeah,
it's going to take more than just everybody has to vote.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
Okay, so let's jump into the next one. Latino voters.
Okay, so Latin voters are kind of a trip to me. I'm not Latin, so I can't say anything, but I'm speaking from the outside looking in, and it's a mess because almost 35% of Latinos voted for Trump. And I know it's broken up into, there's different types of Latino voters that are in Florida, that are in Nevada, that are in Texas, that are in Arizona, and that are in the Midwest. And people that are Latin in Florida, a lot of people in Miami, people are freaking out over the people in Miami, but those are a lot of Cubans. And I'm just going to say it. A lot of Latin people think they're white, and they think that it's true. A lot of people think they're white. A lot of Latin people think they're white, and they think that they're not going to be considered as Latin. And when they say Latin, they get that they go, I don't want to be confused with Mexican, and that's weird. Still on a whole nother level, like that's a derogatory term. Correct. But at least like Mexico isn't like third world, like Cuba's third world, and they think they're. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get people pissed off. But a lot of people think that when they come over, Cubans think they come over and they don't want to be considered Latin. They want to be considered like they're white people and like they have the same privileges. And you get discriminated just because it ain't in your face and you think you got straighter hair doesn't mean they ain't talking about how you're back. But
there's different. I think that we have to realize to them there's different type of Hispanics, Latinos, right? Yes. The ones in Miami probably think they are Miami. Funky don't even say it. Latinos in Miami live like that's the closest things they'll get to living like a white person, right? And why would they align with African Americans when you're already discriminating?
They believe they're better than black people,
right? So I understand. So when he said, why would they align with somebody who's already in the struggle?
But you're oppressed in Cuba, and then you're gonna vote for somebody who's trying to oppress you in the United States, where it's supposed to be the land of the free. And that just is crazy to me. Like, why would you go for somebody who's oppressed, flee from a country that's oppressing you and then come to a country and support somebody who's trying to oppress you? That is crazy.
To them,
it's crazy.
But to them, they don't see it like that.
It says the Latin vote includes folks from Venezuela, Cuba. Exactly, and Venezuela's the same thing.
Yeah,
they have all those issues with communism.
But
and
a lot of those people, I think I read something I saw a documentary on CNN, and a black guy interviewed a Venezuelan lady, and they said the reason why the Venezuelans are siding with him is because of the civil war. That's the war. I don't know if it's a civil war, but the war that's going on. And he denounced the communist leader for the person who's supposed to be the original.
No, they just don't want to be. They want to pretend as they're white. It's just like when they're in their own countries, they don't like color. Yeah. There's issues with Afro Latinos, and they don't want to come over here to the United States and get confused with the same thing. That's simply what it is, and I don't care who gets mad about it, if you're Latin or not. Y'all,
it's just not
here trying to help
in Latin America.
Like,
it's the world. It's the world.
It's the world. But I think in the United States, people, especially black people, fight for the rights and fought for the rights for minorities. That's women. People that are handicapped, Latin, Asian. We fought for those rights for everybody. And then you come over here and then you get those privileges and like grants and loans and things. But you don't want to be considered outside paperwork, right? Or as a minority. And that's a mess. Get it together. Right. Like support your own people, support people that are being oppressed, and let people know that it is wrong, and you can get more things accomplished instead of pretending like Trump is your savior. He wasn't. I mean, in Puerto Ricans, he was throwing fucking paper towels at your ass. People didn't even get.
And that's what they said too.
People didn't even get stimulus checks until a couple of months ago in Puerto Rico. Wow. He didn't even realize Puerto Rico was part of the United States. And then you're going to support him? That is freaking crazy.
That's what they were saying too. They said that the Cuban and Puerto Rican votes in Florida,
you Florida Latin people, and there's a whole bunch of people down here in Texas that I'm not just gonna get off Florida, but in Texas there's a lot of Latinos that support Trump too, and he's locking up your cousins in cages
and and taking the kids from the parents.
That don't make no damn sense.
So I do for Texas. I mean, think about a Mexican or a Hispanic that is second and third generation Texan, they think they're so far removed from Mexico that they think they are white. And they don't, they're like, they don't.
But I don't want to get everybody thinking that we think that all Latins are from Mexico. They're not. No. But you are still being oppressed.
Yes.
You don't look like the white people.
Some of them do.
Stop thinking that you're being considered white. As soon as they hear Martinez, they be like, y'all need to recognize that. It's a mess. But anyways,
okay.
Anybody want to chime in that's from Latin descent, that is Latin descent? I would love to hear that voted for Trump. I would love to hear it. What do you say, Lies? A lot of Afro-Latinos don't even acknowledge that they are genetically part of the black. Yes, that's true. There's a big, I've been reading a lot and listening to a lot of documentaries about the oppression of the Afro-Latino. And it is crazy. And, that was, I don't know if a lot of people, when the Olympics were in Brazil and people noticed that at the opening ceremony, if y'all paid attention, they were paying a lot of homage to the Afro-Latinos and why and how, because how they're oppressed and letting them rise up and letting people see that, because people don't understand that a lot people don't even realize that salsa is from Africa. But people from Latin America don't. They want to claim it that that that's theirs, and
but
it's
even
not.
when you go to Brazil or you go to South America, you see people that look like our
Us.
skin tone, but they speak Spanish, right? So I think
It's weird.
no matter what.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
I ain't want to get on.
All right, let's get off. Hold on. What did he say? He said
they do not think that they're white enough to pass where there's sizable difference in opinions. Chicanos and illegal immigrants. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think because when I was in school, in high school, it really shocked me when I moved from, because I'm originally from the Midwest, and we moved down. We got stationed down in San Antonio, and I was ignorant, and like most people.
What did you think? Hold on, I want to hear this.
Like when we heard Spanish, we just compelled everybody to say that you're Mexican. Like you're Mexican. And people would be like, I'm not Mexican. I'm not. I haven't lived in Mexico. And I'm like, well, you speak Spanish, but then I was just like, oh, well, that's wrong because there's different types of Spanish and different types of. I didn't know. But then I'm just like, it's still Latin descent. That's your people. Like, why would you get offended by that? Like, that's like me saying, I'm not from Africa. Well, I'm not from Africa, but I am Black. And if they come over here, you're gonna benefit the ways that I can benefit, and you're going to get discriminated the ways that I get discriminated against. Because people look at things from what they see, not. They don't ask you.
The first thing they see is your skin color. You remember we had that whole discussion? The first thing somebody sees is your skin color. No matter what you're not, they're gonna assume the first thing that if you're of our color, they're gonna assume you're Black.
Yeah, and I think it was funny because they skirted around that issue on the news, and the issue is Latin people. A lot of Latin people think that they're better than better than Black people.
I won't say all of them. I will say the ones that can pass.
Because people don't even want. They don't. A lot of people that I know don't even want you dating. Their families don't even want you dating a Black person. So, but that's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother topic. We'll go to the next one.
Let's get on our people now that we have got on the Latinos.
Okay, so the Black people. Now we ain't letting 50 Cent,
Ice Cube, Lil Wayne,
Lil
Pump, Trump supporters. So I just want to say,
and you know what was funny is that there were a lot Black. They were all Black men.
But
sad.
But do you know why these
Black men think they white? They think they sit up there. That's what it is.
No,
they got a little money in their pocket.
That's what I was gonna say. They didn't. Oh, it's a
tax
cut.
They trying to assimilate, and they think that that's what's going to help them assimilate a little better in the world,
right?
Because they're supporting Trump, right? And that is crazy. We have enough buying power. Every community has enough buying power to sustain themselves as well. In our own communities and outside of our community, you don't have to jump on the bandwagon to sit up there and assimilate. That is crazy. And they need to be smacked. Everybody needs to stop buying. Don't be buying Kanye shit. Don't be buying his shoes.
Oh, we forgot about Kanye too.
Don't be supporting his music. We need to let them know that is unacceptable. Y'all came from the hood. Most of your target markets are people from the hood that are being oppressed, and you need to recognize you cannot take from us and then oppress us as well. It's unacceptable. And I was going to say mix up Cardi B and freaking Nicki Minaj, but they all need to check his ass and get off that label. They need to go somewhere and they be like, your raggedy ass. This is not acceptable. Lil Wayne came from freaking New Orleans, where it is still being oppressed. They still haven't even got their money from Katrina.
No.
People still losing their houses and everything. And then you're gonna sit up here and just completely disengage yourself from, like, you're voting for Trump. You have people, I'm quite sure he still has family there that they have a Republican governor, Republican senators that are taking things away. He's up there having 15 million kids. And probably gave some people some money for abortions, and they made it illegal. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so then what do you think about Ice Cube. He said that he was going to meet with Trump, and at first
Well-
he changed. I'm gonna meet with Trump, and we're gonna have a plan for the black community. But then he said, no, I'm gonna work with him. I didn't say he was gonna have a plan. He switched it up last minute.
Well, I kind of give Ice Cube a pass because
Why?
you can't not engage.
Mhm.
Like if Trump would have became president again, and somebody has to speak for the black community, and at least he still identifies with it. Like he didn't say he was a Trump supporter. He just said he would speak with him on the behalf of black people on the things that are happening in our community. And he's the only one that said that. Like, you know, Kanye and them talk about
you know who else said that?
Who?
Remember all those black preachers went to the White House, and it was that whole thing of we're gonna.
But they were trying to get money for their churches and stuff. They weren't.
No, I mean, but they said they still for the black community. It's still the same thing, and it never worked. He used
we
y'all
don't
as
even know what
puppets.
they did.
No, that's what I'm
That-
saying. He
yeah.
used them as a publicity stunt,
Yeah.
a photo op, and I
was-
think he was
was-
using Ice Cube too and Lil Wayne.
I don't think he was using Ice Cube. He definitely used Lil Wayne, but I think Ice Cube was doing it.
He thought he was doing it.
He was really thinking he was doing something good, and I think somebody has to do it because Obama wasn't trying to do it. You know, I ain't see him. Somebody had to sit up there and do it. You know, only person that we saw going up into the White House was Kanye and Kim Ye. You know,
Yeah.
so and
What did he say? He said
Louisiana has a
has a
Democratic
Democratic
governor. Oh, I didn't know they had a Democratic governor or senator. Did they just vote it?
I don't know. Black should have
don't know.
should have the support to believe whatever the politics.
Blacks should have to support and believe in whatever political affiliation they identify with. We're not, but when majority of your community and when you're this is my thing. If you have a business and your business targets a suppressed group, you should focus on making sure that community is being taken care of in any way possible. You shouldn't be up there. I think it's unethical to sit up there and take advantage of a community and take from a community their funds and their money and then not support anything that's going to contribute back to the community so they can contribute to you. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So you can identify with anything that you want, but you still need to make sure that you could be a Republican and still support black politics. I'm an independent and I still support black politics and black culture. But when you support Trump, you're not supporting black people.
No, you're like anti-black almost.
Yes, you're anti almost everything.
Yeah.
That's a bad person.
But
nobody can tell me that he supported black people. He didn't.
And it seems like no matter what Trump said, his supporters stood by him no matter what. No matter what he did. Well, Trump said it, and it's law.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways, next topic. And 50 Cent.
He just did it for taxes. You already talked about him.
But again, that goes back to his target market for his shows are black people that are being oppressed. His show is about oppressed black people.
It's about a drug dealer.
You know, like the reason why people, if we delve into it, the reason why people are selling drugs is because they're they're usually in a situation where they're trying to bring themselves up, and that's what that show was based off of, right? Mm-hmm. He was in a bad situation. They built themselves up, and
he was trying to do better
for his family because
he was trying to get out.
He didn't have the resources, and then your whole show is based on that premise, and so like that's crazy. Yeah. Like, child.
Next, okay. Every vote counted, and that is for every state. The absentee ballots, the early voting, it all worked, right? They didn't go knocking on doors like Obama, but they told their voters to get out and vote. They gave you more options, they said, to vote, drive-through voting,
My thing
curbside voting. I think it worked. everything helped. Biden
Anybody
win.
that didn't vote needs to be smacked. And you
There
need
were
to
so
be
many
kicked out
different
of-
ways.
You need to get kicked out of the United States because if you didn't vote, you were able to vote. Like people were saying that they weren't. Like I have 2 clients that work the voting booths, and they
Poll
work in different.
workers.
Yeah, they're poll workers, and they work in different capacities.
Correct.
Some people were working with the judge for the voters. Some people were letting people sign up, and people were coming in. They were telling us stories about people who were coming in who hadn't registered. How do you not register? Everywhere you go, they're asking you to register. And for the last year and a half, they were asking you to register. For you not
Text
to have been
message.
registered is ridiculous. On Facebook, constantly you're bombarded with it. When I must have got about 15 million emails and text messages
A day.
from people. So you were just being lazy and very just disengaged. And then for you not to be registered, that's ridiculous. Even when you go apply for a driver's license or something,
That's like the easiest way to do it. Do you want to?
Yes.
Even when you renew it.
That's not an excuse.
Yeah.
And then this one lady was talking about she didn't have nobody to watch her kids. Take your kids to the poll.
Okay.
Let them see the process and let them see the responsibility that you are putting in your hands and then transferring that responsibility over to them when they get older, that they should be doing it, because people literally died,
lost their lives
for you to have that access.
Oh, what about it's not on our thing, but remember there were a lot of undecided black voters.
I was almost one of them.
So it was interesting.
I contemplated. I thought honestly that people. I still think to this day that Biden is not going to do what we need him to do as a black person, not as a gay man, not as a man, just as a black person for our community. We support the hell out of him, and I think that he just doesn't understand as a white.
So can I ask you this question?
Go ahead.
So what do you think the plan should be for the black community?
I think first thing that we need to do justice reform. We need to fix schools in areas so that schools are up to par and running with upper end suburban areas. I think we need to get rid of the redlining and have stronger rules and regulations against that. I also think that when it comes to gun violence, with police officers,
yes,
I think, and us getting locked up, that needs to be fixed. And I think when you listen to the debates and Biden doesn't take it serious, he knows that there's systemic racism, but
Correct.
they don't
tackle it.
It still goes over their head a little bit. And I think it's because it doesn't impact them completely. They don't really pay attention to it. They know it's a problem. I'm not saying he doesn't know it's a problem, but he knew it was a problem 20, 30 years ago, just like Bernie Sanders did. But Bernie Sanders knew the impact that it would have on the community, and everything that he predicted has come true.
Correct.
Biden voted against what Bernie was doing, and it still kept happening, and it came to fruition. And I think that's a problem when you still to this day can't even say it. And then on the stage with Trump, when Biden was going against Trump, when they were talking about systemic racism and issues within our black community, he started arguing about what Trump was saying about his son. That just shows how much value he puts on us still. And that's concerning.
So this was a comment from Facebook from Satin. I get my glasses.
Okay. Somebody wrote Facebook on Facebook. It said it's based off the class for Cubans in South Florida. The ones that came here in the 60s were the ones that flat, and the ones that flat and that had money. The ones that came here in the 80s were refugees that Castro had opened up in the jails to let them come over any kind of way. I understand that, but at the end of the day, you go to Cuba and it still looks like it's in the 60s. Yeah. Like they drive cars that are in the 60s. They don't have when you go over there, they don't accept credit cards. I don't know if people, you have to do cash because they don't accept Visa or MasterCard. Like, so it's still bad and oppressive. Right. So like it hasn't changed in 20 years. So the people that were there in the 60s that came over here and the people that were there in the 80s, I mean, the regime was still Castro. Right. It's just, so it hasn't changed, so.
Well, Wesley said Kamala will be in the room.
Kamala is a whole nother thing.
Hold on, you don't like her?
Kamala, see, I'm going to have to break this down. Kamala.
Okay, I'm listening.
Everybody thinks skin folk is kinfolk.
Dude, no.
No. Everybody thinks skin folk is kinfolk. And just because she's an AKA, and just because she walks around with her little pearls and she has a little bit of dark color every now and then, they think that she's going to go for justice reform for Black people and support Black people as far as it goes to human rights.
Okay.
Kamala, I'm not saying that she doesn't. I'm a tread lightly on this.
Yes, please do.
But she doesn't consider herself as a Black woman. She considers herself as a Black woman when it's convenient for her to do so. And she does that. She still will not. When it comes to, she was a part of the oppression of the Black man in California. And everybody goes, oh, that was her job. It could be your job. But the thing is you chose to do that job. You played a part in that role. Whatever job you pick as an adult, you know what your job responsibilities are. And if you disagree with them, you choose to stay with that job or go someplace else. She chose to keep locking Black men up, even when she supposedly felt that it was wrong. And they knew it was wrong because justice reform has been an issue in California for years. It's not something that's just popped up. And she still has not. They gave her a chance on the stage, and Pence let her ass have it on that. And she still didn't apologize for it. So, or cop to saying, I was a part of this and I would like to fix that. Or I was trying to fix it when I was in that situation. She hasn't done it.
So what if she would have apologized? Because it's her job. I mean, it's her job. That she could have put in different things where you didn't lock up as many, right? Yeah. But if she would have apologized, what would you think of her now?
I would think, this is the thing. I think we have a double standard. We want Trump to cop to or say he's sorry for the things that he's done. Right. And the bad things that he has done to our community as well as others. But when it comes to Kamala or anybody on the Democratic side, it's not just Kamala. We don't want, we give them excuses for doing shit that they said it was their job. It's not, if you're in the military and you shoot up people that's on the other side, like Koreans, and kill them. And I know this is extreme, but it's not your job to kill people. They're just the enemy at that time. It's your job to detain them. Do what you can. You don't have to mess them up completely. You don't have to mess up the community. She messed up the community. And then what's so bad about it is she's from the Oakland area. So you've been around Black people all your life. That you grew up in Oakland, and you don't see how that's impacting you. And I have no problem with people who date outside their race or get married with somebody outside our race, but it does say something to me when you grew up in the Oakland area, you get married to a white man, you have all these white people around you, you get a job that oppresses Black men, and you still don't have anything to say. It's just like, and she passes, but I think when you can't say what she's done specifically for Black, because this is the thing, she can't say what she's done specifically for the Black community.
Right.
She can't say it. And you've been a senator for a while. What can you say that you've done? What she did was attack Biden for his issues with the busing for schools. She attacked Cory Booker. She attacked Trump. But what have you done to help our community? So I want to believe and I hope that she does something to help us out as a whole, but she doesn't consider herself a Black woman. She considers herself as a woman of color, and that is an issue for me. But she is Indian. Black and Indian, and I know Black and Indian people, and I know a lot of Indian that are biracial, and they don't consider themselves Black. And when we have discussions, because this is true, right? When we have discussions, I have discussions all the time about Black issues in our community, and they do not identify with it. And she was raised by her mother, who is Indian, and I'm quite sure she does not identify with that stuff. I'm quite sure she was raised as that. You can't be raised as a Black person when you're not a Black person. And she grew up so I think she's gonna go through the same thing that anybody who was of any other color is going to go through. Just because she went to a HBCU, she said she went to the HBCU because she wanted to identify more with her Black people. Now, that's okay and fine, but at the end of the day, you grew up in Oakland. Like, well, you didn't have to go all the way to Howard to find Black people when you're right there. So if you didn't have any roots with your own family, that says something to me, that if she had Black people right in her back door and her mom was right there and they didn't let her identify with Black people right there, and she had to go all the way across the United States to try to identify with Black people and the only thing that makes you feel like you're comfortable with Black people is walking around with Timbs and pearls, then that's an issue, because that's not who we are. So whatever. And she's always doing that identity shit, like that. So like, okay, so say for instance, when she tried to come for what's the new Supreme Court Justice? Amy. I forgot her freaking name. But the new Supreme Court Justice, that new Supreme Court Justice let her ass have it, and I don't think people caught it. She said Kamala tried to come for her about systemic racism, and she let her know politely. She was like, I do know that systemic racism exists. She was like, because I'm the only one in this whole room that has Black kids. It's the truth.
But Kamala didn't have kids.
Kamala tried to come for her about systemic racism and growing and in the community. But she doesn't even identify as a Black person. But the lady was trying to say, I'm the one that has to deal with that. I deal with that. My kids are Haitian. They deal with it every day. And I deal with it with my kids. So Kamala's in a place of privilege where she doesn't actually experience all that. And we all need to understand that. Right. But so we have to pray that she has open mind, because I ain't seen her walk around with a whole bunch of Black people.
So you want her to walk around with the whole bunch?
No, I just need her. I need her to have it in her company.
So what do you expect for her? What do you think should be her focus?
I think her focus should be for minorities, period. But I also think that she needs to realize that I don't think she recognizes that there are issues in the Black community that need that need attention.
I disagree. I think she knows, and she don't want to touch it.
I agree.
She don't want to touch it.
It's just like Obama. He said every time that they were like, how come you're not, when every time somebody would say something about why he wasn't doing anything to help specific Black people, he said, I'm helping all Americans and by a whole that helps Black people. And that's just completely.
But they don't want to seem one-sided.
Well,
you have to see that.
when gays and lesbians asked for equal rights, and that he fixed it. When issues with when the Native Americans wanted stuff handled, he fixed it. When women wanted stuff handled, he fixed it. You can.
So you're saying when will our time be?
Yes, because the black people, I think the black people that are in the I just went blank. The people that have been in Congress for a very long time.
It's time for them to go.
They have got so comfortable.
Why do you have a 30-year career in politics
and not do nothing? And you march with King, and that's all great and fine and well and dandy, but it's 30 years later and we're still fighting for the same shit. So like, and people are dying on camera now. Yeah. So like,
you got to go.
So it's like, you can't say like that happened at the beginning and that's good. But what people go, oh, that's disrespectful, Curtis, for saying that they're not doing anything, but they aren't. They keep pushing it to the back, and doing something is having a voice right there. It's not saying being complacent and letting things pass. What we have been told by our black community and our black leaders has been, wait, it's not time. We even essentially got told that by Obama. So it's not time. It's not time. But yet we were getting killed every day on television and on Facebook Live by cops and people walking all over us. It's been time when and we need to say it and stop allowing people to tell us it's progressive. It's not progressive. It's just regular stuff. It's regular stuff. It's equal rights. Equal rights for when they say AOC is too progressive. That's stuff that everybody. Why is equality progressive? It's what everybody should demand. It's what white people get every day. It's white people get every day. It's not progressive for white people to get it. Why is it progressive for black people to ask for it?
Right.
It's crazy.
And not only that I think that's why the squad came in. AOC. I think it's a lady from Kansas,
Missouri,
Corey, and it's two others. And now we have, let's talk about that too, the black U.S. congressman, the black gay congressman. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the change, but if they're not doing their job, they need to go.
And we need to vote them out, and we need to get them out.
Because these same people
and that's why everybody needs to get registered who ain't registered. And you need to vote during the off season. So when in 2 years when it's time to vote for a new congressman, everybody needs to get out there. So you
can't get mad if Ted Cruz becomes
the senator again. So I vow to everybody that you think I was an ass during this election, I'm gonna be putting all kinds of crap out there to let people know and trying to get involved as much as I don't even know how to get involved completely, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I was gonna say how we can get involved is support the Senate, because the news kept saying, okay, you won the presidency, but you still gotta win the Senate. If you want stuff, the Senate controls it seems like they control everything. That's why stuff hasn't been passed.
The House and the Senate. So the House bills have to get passed in the House. Right. They go over to the Senate.
But the Senate
can approve it, and then or they can decide to vote on it to give it to the president.
Right.
The president has to sign for it. But if he doesn't sign over it and vetoes it, the Senate can veto that. But we couldn't even get our senators. Democrats can't even get it together to get because
the stimulus, the second stimulus. Remember that they were trying to do that before the election.
We need to learn more about how
government works,
and we need to and black people need to be involved in it at all the ways. We have a lot of power,
and because we
can get all minorities on the same page.
Yes. And
we
have to remember that we pay their salaries.
And try to act like they don't.
But we do. We pay taxes, and you pay for your senators and your congressmen.
But let's go to the next thing.
That was it.
That's it.
Hold on, let me make sure.
I thought we had one more thing. We didn't have anything.
Expectations. Latino votes of 50 cents. Every vote counts.
Oh, let's talk about expectations really quick. These are expectations I need. I mean, these are things that I need to have. I need for people to be locked up. I need it. I know we said that at the beginning, but I'm not satisfied, period, with Biden being the president. I need consequences and repercussions. I need them. I need them. I need people. I need taxes. We don't need to be waiting for New York to file charges against Donald Trump. We need federal charges. We need crimes against humanity. Right. We need money laundering. We need crimes against war, because Trump knew that soldiers had bounties on their head and he still didn't say anything about it. That's crazy. Like, what kind of deals does he have? Everything. It's too many. I need charges. I need Bill Barr charged. I need.
So basically, all your expectations are to put Trump away.
Not just Trump, his administration. That cabinet needs to be. That cabinet needs to be. They need charges, and they need to not only charges, because they do that with police brutality.
They need to be convicted.
I need people convicted, prosecuted. We know that shit was wrong.
Right.
They need to answer for it.
Correct.
People cannot come into government and think that they can just get away with making extra money on the backs of people, taking away our livelihoods, fucking up the economy, fucking up healthcare, fucking up education. Betsy DeVos, you got to go. Need to get out. She can't go to jail because everything she did was legal. But that's crazy.
You shouldn't have been selected as secretary.
Well,
you went to private school.
I mean.
So who do you think should be Secretary of State?
Man, Trump did it. So I think he needs to make his wife. He needs to make his wife Secretary of Education.
Oh, because she's a teacher.
She's an educator.
What about Elizabeth Warren?
No, Elizabeth Warren needs to be in financial reform.
Oh, okay. But
that's her specialty.
So do you think all those candidates that was running, you think he's going to look out for them? I think he is. He's going to give them something.
Yeah,
in politics.
But hopefully they'll do something. Somebody said they will never lock up a former POTUS. The challenge they can and they should. So I think they have to make an example. We have to make an example. Too?
He said they would never. We thought a president would never do what Trump did.
Yes,
and Trump did everything. Whatever Trump said, he did. So therefore, we can't do. It needs to be out the window and hold these and this. If Biden's the president, say this is what I'm gonna do. I don't care. Trump did it, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to pretend like we're gonna give him a pass and try and say it's okay. It's water under the bridge. It is not water under the bridge. We were impacted and hurt. People were actually impacted. Lives were impacted.
Correct.
You messed up. Government, you messed up. He messed up people's minds. People were stressed out. People are depressed. People are hurt. And
people are homeless.
And he needs to go to jail for it. And that you cannot rip up a country
and think it's okay.
And a government and not only think it's okay, but make it okay. Right. And Biden and them need to come
for his ass.
Yes.
So I got a question. I know this is.
And in reality, not Biden. The new attorney general needs to do it. Because it's not Biden's. We got everything confused by saying that Bill Barr and the president were never supposed to be working together like that. That's a whole completely different legislation group, and we've allowed them to think that they're connected, and they're not.
Right.
And so the new legal group, they need to go after them. They need to do their jobs and go after them.
So I have a question for you. What do you think will bring the country back together?
People going to jail.
Hold on. The country back together, like?
People going to jail.
Or do you think we're going to be divided for the next 4 years?
I think people going to jail, justice would bring the country back together, because there's two things. Mm-hmm. People need to see for a fact that stuff was illegal and wrong, because there's 70 million people that believe that Trump did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And so we need the courts to show and document that he did, not just what we thought in our history books and not perception. We need it written down that he did this wrong. And then this is unacceptable. Then there needs to be consequences for it. So that when the next person in 20 years comes along and thinks that they're going to be bigots and thinks they're going to rip the country apart and thinks they can make money off the American people's backs by selling the country out to overseas things, because there's probably going to be another billionaire that becomes a president. We need to let them know that they cannot do that. We need to let people know that they cannot tear down the FBI. You cannot tear down the CIA. You
The
cannot.
CDC, don't forget about
Yes,
them.
you cannot mess up the CDC. You can't make money from the CDC. Like really, like you're trying to make money off
other people's back.
yeah, man.
Okay,
this
so
is
we have a
ridiculous.
comment. Read that.
What is it? What is your contingency plan if the media coverage? What? Wait, what happened? Oh, somebody else. He said,
No, it's
Go.
right down your screen.
"Oh, what is your what is your contingency plan if the media coverage on the continued law enforcement injustices toward Black is simply suppressed, with your white allies and more focused on
Ooh.
the DC interests? Their DC. Well, see, this is the problem.
What's the problem?
The problem is everybody looks at the CNN and MSNBC and Fox too much. There are other networks that focus on what
What's
Bloomberg
really going on.
that's going on, and we need to stop looking at people who are opinion like though MSNBC, CNN, and Fox are their opinion columnists, and we are getting them mixed up with journalists. There are real shows that have journalists on them, like HSN, BBC, BBC.
I thought BBC was overseas.
No, they have a North America, they have the world.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot. I can't even name them all right now, but there are a lot of channels. Like for the last 2 months, I have not watched MSNBC or CNN, only when they had a debate, because we get those confused with real journalism, and it's not. So we do a disservice by allowing them to say that they're the media coverage and they're not the media.
Right.
So we need to watch real news. And when you watch the real news, you don't get conflicted with all that other stuff. So that's you are gay. You gay? Yo, are you gay? Yes, I'm gay. It's a gay show.
I'm not even posting that comment. Lord.
Somebody just asked on here, are you whatever. We're not even somebody's being ignorant on here, but they're being a homophobe on our show, so that's cute. But whatever.
I just
Rick Lopez, did you vote for Trump?
Probably so.
Probably.
Okay, so he said something else. What did he say? No, that's not it. Nearly half of the nation voted for DT. That dude ain't going to jail.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So that's why we need to have consequences of repercussions for the actions, because half the country believes that this man didn't do anything wrong. And we need to show that there was wrongdoing. Mm-hmm. And you can't and with people on one side saying like MSNBC or CNN saying that Donald Trump did something wrong, it's not going to do anything to appease the people that are Trump supporters. So we have to have legal documentation saying that this man did bad things. Correct. And these are and list out what he did and then prosecute based off of those things. So true. That's the only reason why I need to see. That's my expectations. That's what we need to. If Kamala and Biden let him get away with this, then that is going to be an issue, and that'll be an issue for the Democratic Party. That'll be an issue for me, and
issue for me too.
I think that we should not allow them to let him get away with that. But that's all we have for today.
That's it. Thank you guys for watching.
And we have some upcoming shows that we have already pre-recorded, right, that with guests what you guys to look out for. We're just continuing the show, but just through a web version of it. So we won't be sitting in a group of 5 guests at a table. We will. It's actually done like a Zoom version. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. We'll probably put one out in about a week or so. Yeah. And we look forward to hearing your comments on the show and responding to your comments and sign up for our Instagram or and follow us and when Facebook, we post Instagram, when we do shows and you want to be a part of the show, it's a great way to be a part of the show now, because we are doing it from your home.
Yeah.
Since it's on.
It's easy to comment.
Yeah. So we look forward to you. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yep. And that's it.
That's the show. You have a great one.